Okay, so
Ken
Sorry
Loach
Missed You,
then.
which is the new film by Ken Loach and writer Paul Laverty, which in many ways functions as a kind of companion piece to I, Daniel Blake. That dealt with people struggling, people on benefits struggling to survive. This deals with people in work struggling to survive. Ricky is a grafter who once dreamed of owning his own house with his wife and his kids. Financial crash, everything changed. Suddenly, the possibility of mortgages coming through hadn't happened. So now, many years later on, he's done a number of different jobs and he needs to change his situation. And he goes for an interview to become a delivery man. And the company that he's working for is one of these, it's kind of 0 hours, gig economy. You don't work for us, you work with us. It's not wages, it's fees. It's an opportunity for you to become the master of your own destiny. You're freed from the sort of slavery of being wage slave. You're the master. You're in control of your own hours. You take care of things at your own responsibility. Which all of this is basically a way of saying you're freed from the rights of us to give you basic workers' rights because you're not employed. You are basically looking after yourself. So, from the very beginning, it appears that this. He thinks that there's an opportunity there in which he can make it work if he just puts in the hours because he is a hard worker. But the very first thing they have to do is, he has to have his own van. And in order to get his own van, he has to put down a deposit, which is going to involve his partner, Abby, who is an overstretched care worker, selling her car so that she will now have to get between the jobs that she does on the bus. And each job that she does, she's already overstretched because she's not allowed to spend the amount of time with each person she goes to see that she wants to. Her motto is, you treat them all like your mam. But she's not able to because the travelling time she's not paid for and the bus fares she's not paid for. And there are just simply not enough hours in the day to do what she does. As far as he's concerned, if something happens in his life and he doesn't turn up for work, he gets fined. If something happens in his job, he carries all the risk for the loss of equipment or for the loss of parcels. No matter what happens, everything comes back to, he keeps being told, it's all your choice, it's all your choice. And as he discovers, he has less and less choice. Plus, the job itself is insanely demanding because it's back-breaking days trying to hit a bunch of time-specific deadlines with, if you've ever waited in, your parcel will be due, sometime between here and then, we all go, the parcel was meant to be due between here and here and it didn't turn up. Well, maybe one of the reasons it didn't is because the poor person trying to get it to you is working to a schedule that is impossible, and often when they get there, they are not fondly greeted.
Hi, mate. You take this parcel from Mr. Campbell?
Robert, not mate. Keeps on parking in me parking space.
Right, but can you not just sign for it?
Liz here.
Cheers, man. Just, please. Tell me your last name, I can't read it.
Oh, that's how you're gonna get, mate,
Right, but I need your last name.
Big data.
Big what?
Big data. It's when people start hoovering up all our personal information and putting it in that black box. Tell you, I'll be getting brochures for blow-up dolls next. You know what I mean?
Blow-up
In fact, that's
dolls?
probably what this is.
And so, as the job goes on, something as always with Ken Loach, there's an element of light and shade. He gets chased by dogs. He gets ticketed by traffic wardens. Everything he has to take on the responsibility for, and in order to deal with it, he just has to work more and more. And as he has to work more and more, and as Abby has to work more and more, the two kids that they have, who are 11 and 15, I think is the son, are spending less and less time with their parents, despite the fact that they both evidently need and crave time with their parents. Here's the thing. At the beginning of the film where it's going because it is it's a Ken Loach, Paul Laverty drama about a very real issue, which is much in the news at the moment, about what happens when people are effectively excluded from essential employment rights by the circumstances under which they do their job. So it's a film in which we know that the narrative doesn't have a happy ending. And it's possible at the very beginning of the film to say, okay, I know how this is going to play out. It's very tough because it's like watching a drama that starts at a point of, anxious. I mean, I'm anxious at the beginning for the state of what's going to happen. As soon as I tell you, well, you need to put down this money, you need to do this. That this is just all going to spiral, and that what you're going to watch is a family who are played very convincingly by people characters you believe in circumstances you believe in, and you're going to see the screws of pressure being turned more and more on them. I don't think it's in the same league as I, Daniel Blake, which I think managed to address its social issues brilliantly, but also managed to engage on a dramatic level in a way which, for me, this didn't quite. Partly because, I was saying this before, although it's a strange comparison, I talked about After the Wedding having a kind of schematic line to the narrative, and to some extent, I think that is true of this film. I think that it's much easier at the beginning to sort of see how the thing will play out, and there is a sense of grinding desperation. Then again, there are moments of levity. There's a lovely scene when the family share a curry. There's a lovely day out, a father-daughter sort of bonding scene, although, you know, in this world, no good deed goes unpunished. So there are cracks of light in the darkening environment, but it's very tough. It's very downbeat, and I think it is arguable that that is because the situation that it is depicting is not one which is full of glimmers of hope. But I confess that whereas I, Daniel Blake, grabbed and thrilled me as a piece of drama, this felt much more like a very, very bleak missive from the edge of something.